Good morning. I am pleased to share with you the key financial highlights of both Biocon and Syngene for the quarter and the half year ended September 30th, 2015. Let me start at a consolidated level for Biocon. I am pleased to report a 12% growth in revenues at a quarterly level and a 13% increase in revenues at a half-yearly level. Net profit at a quarterly level grew 200% to 306 crores. This was, of course, including an exceptional income that we realized from the Syngene IPO. Net profit margin accordingly was at a level of 36%. EBITDA has grown 18% this quarter to 222 crores. At a half-yearly level, EBITDA grew 21% to 458 crores. The EBITDA margin this quarter has improved from 24% to 26%, and this is on the back of a 64% jump in R&D expenses from 35 crores last fiscal, in Q2 last fiscal, to 57 crores in Q2 this fiscal. At a half-yearly level as well, R&D expenses have jumped 62% from 66 crores to 107 crores. And if you look at R&D expenses at a gross level, we are at 183 crores at a half-year level and at 90 crores at a quarterly level. Now coming to Syngene, which has had a very stellar debut in terms of its entry into the market. Its first reported earnings in Q2 this time around, its debut reporting this time, has been a very stellar entry. Syngene has delivered broad-based growth both at a quarterly level and at a half-yearly level in terms of top-line growth of 28%. EBITDA has seen a growth of 27% at a half-yearly level and at 30% at this quarter. In terms of PAT, at a half-yearly level, it has grown 29% to almost 96 crores from last year's 75 crores. And at a quarterly level, PAT has actually jumped 31% from 40 crores last fiscal to 52.3 crores this fiscal. So as you can see, I think both Syngene and Biocon have had a very good quarter to report and a good half year to report this time around. Certainly, I think Syngene has delivered very robustly on its business, where all its businesses have grown and delivered robust growth. As far as R&D spends are concerned at Biocon, we continue to advance very rapidly in the clinic, and as you can see from the jump in R&D expenses, this only indicates the advancement made by these programs in the clinic. And we are very pleased that 5 of our biosimilar programs are in this global phase 3 clinical development phase, and we expect that some of these programs will be filed both in the US and Europe next fiscal. So I think this is an extremely important segment to watch. I think this is an important entry point for Biocon and Mylan. We are front runners in biosimilars globally. And of course, from India, we are certainly the most advanced company pursuing the biosimilars opportunity, and this is a very exciting opportunity and space for us to play in. We have already seen good penetration of biosimilars, especially Glargine, and now very soon Trastuzumab in the emerging markets. We have just received regulatory approval for Trastuzumab in Algeria. We have already received regulatory approval for Glargine in Mexico, and this continues to do well for us. This time around, although we have seen a stable performance at Biocon in terms of top line, there has been improved profitability. And this profitability is actually attributable to a very good product mix, largely led by insulins and immunosuppressants. This we believe is an indication of the importance of these two segments in our growth ahead, especially the biosimilars. In terms of Syngene, I have just mentioned that this is a very important starting quarter for Syngene. Syngene has had a resounding success in terms of its IPO. As you know, it was oversubscribed 31 times, and I think this has basically reposed the confidence that the investors have in a business like Syngene. I will of course leave it to my colleague Peter Baines, the CEO of Syngene, to give you more optics on the business and prospects ahead. But suffice to say that this is a very proud moment for Biocon, because we have unlocked very huge value from Syngene's listing. And having said that, we are also pleased to sort of state that we are actually going to play a very leadership role in the research services space in Asia. Syngene is already one of the most recognized research services companies in Asia, and it will continue to be a very successful and very watched publicly listed research services company out of India. We do have very strong anchor clients, and we expect to actually diversify our offerings as we move ahead. But suffice to say that Syngene is certainly a business that is driving good growth for Biocon. Biocon will continue to depend on Syngene's earnings in the near term as up until the time that our biosimilars start entering the global markets. Emerging markets is a big opportunity for Biocon's biosimilars, and we believe that with our regulatory filings in US and Europe being projected in the near term, we believe that this is going to be a very exciting space for Biocon to play in. In terms of branded formulations, we have delivered a top line of 119 crores this quarter. Branded formulations continues to be a specialty play for Biocon, and whilst top line growth has been fairly muted on account of product rationalization, profitability in this particular segment has been much improved compared to last fiscal, and this basically shows that our specialty approach is paying us in the way we expect. We have a couple of reports to give you in terms of our novel programs. IN-105, or oral insulin, is a program that we would henceforth like to refer to as insulin tregopil, because this is the INN name given to this insulin analog, and it is important for us to now keep referring to it as insulin tregopil, because it is a very exciting insulin analog which has a very interesting oral delivery profile. We have just started compiling all the data that we have received in the complete study report that we have just received from our US trials. The data certainly indicates that insulin tregopil has a very strong role to play in postprandial glycemic control. We are excited with many of these findings, and we are in discussion with our partner BMS to basically evolve the next development plans for this very exciting molecule. In terms of itolizumab, whilst we continue to develop this asset for global opportunities, and we are actually about to start certain clinical trials in Australia very shortly in terms of dose escalation studies, we have basically taken an impairment for our US rights for this molecule this quarter, largely because of the uncertainty that exists in terms of getting governmental waivers from the US on accounts of its Cuban origin. We were expecting that with the thawing Cuban-US relations, we were expecting these waivers to basically be expeditious, but our recent feedback suggests that there is no change in that policy, and therefore we've decided to take an impairment of this asset. But regardless of this, we will continue our development, and we also will of course address the US opportunity as soon as we receive the governmental waiver, whenever that happens. In terms of the rest of our business, I think we remain very steady state in terms of our overall biopharma business. Insulins continues to deliver well for us, immunosuppressants continue to deliver well for us. These are the basic margin contributors to our business. And Malaysia is on track. It is actually undergoing a large number of qualification tests in Malaysia, and we are on track to basically realize the benefits of both Malaysia and various India operations as we move into the quarters ahead. We remain confident on the business prospects of Biocon, and I will leave it now to Peter Bains to take you through the Syngene business prospects, not for the year ahead, but for the future as well. So I will end there, and I can take a few questions.